In this video, we're going to review the commutative and associative properties. Let's begin with what commute means. What does it mean to commute? You commute every day to and from school, either by bus, by car, or maybe you walk. Your parents also commute every day to work, either by bus, car, maybe even train. So commute means to move back and forth. So you move back and forth to school on a bus, or maybe in a car, or maybe you walk. So the commutative property means that you move numbers back and forth, and they don't affect the outcome of the problem. The first property we're going to review is the commutative property of addition. And for making it a little easier to use, we're going to call it C+, just to shorten the notation for it so we don't have to say commutative property of addition because it is a mouthful. The commutative property addition is an order property, and what it says is that the order that the numbers are in an addition problem does not matter. For instance, if I have A plus B, the result, or the sum of that, is the same as doing B plus A. So for instance, 7 plus 8 is 15, and so isn't 8 plus 7. So the order of the problem doesn't matter, the outcome is still going to be 15. The second commutative property is the commutative property of multiplication, and we're going to abbreviate this property as C star. The commutative property of multiplication is another order property where it says the order in which you multiply two numbers does not matter. Your product is still going to be the same. So if I have numbers A and B, the product of A and B is going to be the same as the product of B and A. For example, 4 times 9, the product is 36. And 9 times 4, the product is also 36. So the order doesn't matter for multiplication. It doesn't matter for addition either. There are, however, no commutative properties for subtraction or division because order does matter when you are subtracting numbers or when you are dividing numbers. What does associate mean? Let me give you some examples. The American Medical Association is a group for doctors. The MTA is a group for Massachusetts teachers. Marching band is a group for students that like to perform in a marching band. Student council are students in our school who like to work together to do fun activities and do social activities. So associate means to group. And in math, we have associative properties that say groupings don't matter, the outcome is going to be the same. So let's take a look at those now. Let's look at the associative property of addition, and we'll abbreviate that A+. So the associative property of addition is a grouping property, and what it says is that if you have 3 or more numbers and the only operation of those numbers, between those numbers, is addition, that if you group them together and follow the order of operations, you'll get the same answer or the same sum regardless of how they are grouped. For instance, if you have A plus the quantity of B plus C, the outcome or the sum of that is going to be the same as if you group A and B together and then add C. You would have to follow the order of operations based on the parentheses, but regardless, the sum is still going to be the same. Let's look at an example. On the left side of this number sentence, order of operations would tell me to add what's in parentheses first, which would be 3 plus 4. So if I add 3 plus 4, I get 7, and then I add to that 2. So I end up with 9. On the right side of the number sentence, what's in parentheses is 2 plus 3. Order of operations would say I need to add those together first. 2 plus 3 would be 5. 5 plus 4 would be 9. So regardless of which group I did first, the outcome is still the same. And notice there are only addition signs in this example. That is how the associative property works. It all has to be the same sign, and that would be addition. There is no associative property of subtraction because remember, subtraction, order matters in subtraction. So we cannot group different numbers with subtraction and get the same answer. Okay, let's look at the associative property of multiplication now. We're going to abbreviate that A star. The associative property of multiplication is a grouping property. And this property says that if you multiply 3 or more numbers together, that no matter how you group them, your product is still going to be the same. So on the left side of my number sentence, I have A times the quantity of B times C. Order of operations would say I need to do B times C first and then multiply it by A. On the right-hand side, I have the quantity of A times B. Order of operations would say multiply A times B first and then multiply times C. Let's look at an example. So in this example, I have 5 times the quantity of 2 times 6, and it says it's equal to the quantity of 5 times 2 times 6. So if I follow order of operations, I would multiply 2 times 6 first to get 12, and then I would multiply by 5 to get 60. On the right side, order of operations would say multiply 5 times 2 first. If I multiply 5 times 2, I get 10, and then I multiply by 6 to get 60. So regardless of how the numbers that are being multiplied together are grouped and following order of operations, the outcome is still the same.